Since President Trump announced the FDA's fast-track approval of convalescent plasma therapy, over a dozen of states across the nation have begun plasma injections for critically ill COVID-19 patients. One America's Sinclair has this report.
Hospitals across the nation are now infusing antibodies found in blood plasma from recovered COVID-19 patients into those struggling to fight the virus. Experts are saying that right now the demand for this convalescent plasma might actually be higher than the supply, as there was no nationwide protocol put in place before this pandemic hit. Still, physicians are calling on the need for clinical trials to better understand the treatment, as some are saying the virus will be around longer than expected. Arturo Casadevall, an infectious disease expert based at the Hopkins School of Medicine, proposed the use of convalescent plasma back in January.
I was very worried about this in January. This is why I began writing about using convalescent serum. I'm an infectious disease expert, and I know, what do we have? We have history. It's a new virus, so you basically extrapolate from what you know in the past. And when these viruses become established, it takes a lot of effort to eradicate them. So now that it's established in the United States, now that we have 500,000 plus cases, it's just going to take time to figure out how to get it out of our population. The logistics of organizing for collecting plasma and getting it to the hospitals, we didn't have anything like that in place before the epidemic happened.
Casadevall has now assembled a team of physicians and scientists from across the nation. Together with the FDA's approval, they've began clinical trials.
When you analyze the people who get the plasma versus the people who didn't get the plasma, you may be able to get some hints as to how it worked and how well it worked. So our efforts are largely hoping to get randomized clinical trials going in the next a week or so across the country, because if we carry them out correctly and if we carry them out rapidly, we may be able when, how, and if to use the plasma, especially into the summer months, since we think this will continue.
While keeping a note of optimism, the immunologist explains how the nation remains in the early stages of obtaining results.
We now have several hundred people treated, but it's too early to know, the degree to which it is helping. I think we're just going to have to wait a couple of weeks. Think about it. If a person is in an intensive care unit and they get the plasma, it may take a few days for that person to get off a respirator or to be discharged. And that's the kind of thing that just requires time to know how well it's working.
Physicians are hoping the same treatment can be used also as a preventative therapy, while boosting the immune systems of healthcare providers and first responders.
People are very sick. They're in the intensive care unit and they're getting plasma. That is not a clinical trial. A clinical trial is when you compare people who are treated to people who are not.
Hopkins School of Medicine is anticipating beginning their prophylactic clinical trial by next week. In the meantime, they were hoping the supply of convalescent plasma continues to increase. Sinclair, One America News, New York.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.